Former President Trump making his way to the Bay Area for a major campaign fundraiser tonight, and Vice President Kamala Harris was here yesterday to do the same.
CBS 13 political analyst Gary Dietrich is here to talk about that and more. Always good to see you.
Likewise.
They're not here for the weather. They're here to try and raise some funds, of course, but the ripple effect to the other races on the statewide level could be kind of big, right?
Well, you know, the big joke has always been California's the gigantic ATM machine for presidential campaigns, right?
Yes.
And you're seeing that. I mean, we've got the Democrat and the Republican both in the Bay Area tonight raising funds. Well, actually, Kamala was here for two yesterday. But the bottom line is this, guys. It's not just, I mean, most people sort of write off California. It's a blue state. It's not going to go anywhere. But the impact of a Trump coming here, for example, is very important. For people to be energized, his base to be energized, to turn out for these House seats, these House races. We've got one right. Kevin Kiley, you know, is one of the 7 targeted here in California. The Democrats hope they can, you know, use to get back control of the House. So it's really important not just to bring the cash in, take that back with them, but to energize their base, their volunteers. For these House seats, they're going to be critical. If he wants to have, say, Trump wins, he wants to have the Republicans in control of the House, no doubt.
All right, that's the key. Get people fired up, and then you're going to get more voters, and that's what you need, right?
Yep,
you need more people at the polls. Well, today, prosecutors, switch gears here, calling their key witness to the stand in Hunter Biden's federal gun trial. You'll remember the president's son facing 3 felony charges, allegedly lying about his drug use when buying a gun. We focus so much on the former president's conviction, but let's talk about this one now. If Hunter Biden were to be convicted, how would that trickle down and impact the president and former President Trump?
Now, Tony and I are talking in the newsroom that the polls right now aren't showing a huge swing after Trump's convictions, maybe a couple of points. To me, this Hunter Biden thing is very interesting because it could cut both ways, right? I mean, some are saying, well, you know, if he gets convicted, then it's a wash, right? It's a conviction for a conviction. But Democrats could well say, well, listen, you know what? See, we told you. There's no going after President Trump because the president's own son was convicted. So that wasn't a political trial. So I'm really not sure how this is going to wash out. Remember, the president's son has another trial on tax evasion that's going to be coming up as well. So these legal wranglings aren't done. By the way, you know, Trump this week got some good news. The Georgia trial's been suspended indefinitely. The Florida trial's been put off as well for all kinds of legal things. So in the end, 5 months from now, is all this legal stuff going to make a big difference? Right now, the polls are showing maybe not too big a one.
Yeah, let's talk about what happened 80 years ago today, marking the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Obviously, international commemorations taking place locally and here in where we live. How is that being remembered?
Well, you know, there's all kinds of remembrances of it. But I think, Tony, to me, the big thing is real fundamental, and that is, you think about the average Americans and charging that beach. We've all seen things like Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan, but you think about it compared to our time now, and I think that's the worthy remembrance, right? The remembrance is that 80 years ago, we had tens of thousands of Americans storming the beach. They didn't care, right or left shoulder, whether they were an R or D or none of the above, right? And I think for me, that's really probably the takeaway from today, is that however things turn out in 5 months, these are the kind of things we need to remember. You know, people died, tens of thousands of them. So we just have an opportunity to remain free and vote. You know, I think that's sort of the big takeaway to me on a day like today.
Keeping things in perspective.
Right.
I'm reminded how the definition of pride and selflessness has changed when I think about that day. Right.
And words like honor, valor, sacrifice, things that probably would, you know, benefit us all in this day and age.
Need to hear it. All right. Thank you, Gary.